Welcome class. Hello friends, welcome to new student lecture video from Subhras Biology, and in this class we will study about a disease, a fungal disease, as we are studying the mycology, and this is the part 4 of this mycology section, and today we will discuss about a disease, that is the candidiasis. So candidiasis, the name suggests it is a fungal infection. So it is caused due to a fungus, or rather yeast like fungus. The name is Candida albicans. But in some cases 6 to 7% it may be caused due to Candida tropicalis or Candida glabrionata, etc. But in this class we will study about Candida albicans, its introduction, its morphology, lab diagnosis, pathogenesis, etc. But before you start, if you are new to my channel, then subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your friends, and comment me in the comment section that which video we will study in the next class. So now we'll start with the fungus, or rather yeast-like fungus, that is the candidiasis. So it is caused due to Candida albicans. As we have studied in the last class that Candida albicans is an example of yeast-like fungi. So let's recall in the last class what we have studied, that a fungus or fungi are classified into, first is the yeast, second the yeast-like, molds and dimorphic. So the second one, the intermediate stage between the yeast and the mold, that is the intermediate state, it is the yeast-like. It means they are not yeast, but rather they are like yeast, right? So the special structure or the special differentiation between yeast and yeast-like fungi is that this yeast-like fungi, they show a sexual body and they show a pseudohyphae structures, right? So the true hyphae or the true filamentous forms or chains are seen in case of molds, but this yeast-like fungi, they show a pseudohyphae like structure or false hyphae like structure, right? So these are the chains, right? So false pseudohyphae is seen in case of Candida albicans. So if we will see its morphology, so this is a oval or spherical in structure, as you see here. So the best thing you have to remember about this Candida albicans is it is a normal inhabitant of our body. It is the commensal in our body: skin, GI tract, vaginal cavities and mucosa. So this is a commensal. So what do you mean by commensal? Commensal means they normally live in our body without causing any harm to us. They are harmless. They are harmless fungus. In this case, you may ask me one thing, that if they are harmless fungus, then why they cause diseases in our body? Right. The answer is, this is the best question. So the answer is that I have studied you that opportunistic pathogens, right? So this is a yeast-like fungi. So they become harmful, or they transform into a harmful organism or harmful fungus in case of opportunistic or immunocompromised patients. So when our immunity weakens in case of AIDS or cancer-like patients, so where our immunity is low and we give the harmless organisms that opportunity that you come and also grow in our body, so that we will be diseased, right? Nothing like that. But the case is that the transformation of this fungus from commensal organism to this opportunistic pathogen, it happens due to some predisposing factors. Predisposing factors for this candidiasis are, it may be due to immunocompromised patients or malignancy or prolonged time you are taking antibiotics, steroids, or malignancy. So these are the predisposing factors, and also the diabetes. These are the predisposing factors for the disease candidiasis. So if we will see its lab diagnosis, so first of all we should see for specimen collection. So which sample or what are the specimen we should collect for this disease candidiasis? So you should collect on the disease presentation, the disease, where the disease has occurred, right? So what happens if we have, mainly we take urine in case of UTI or the urinary tract infection. In case of pneumonia, we take sputum like samples. In case of vaginal thrush, we take vaginal fluid or vaginal discharges. So these are the specimens we should collect from this candidiasis, different type of candidiasis, right? And next we will see the culture of Sabardus dextrus agar. This is the best culture media for this Candida albicans, and creamy colonies it's seen here after 24 to 48 hours in 25 to 37 degrees Celsius, if we'll incubate this, we will get creamy colonies, right? And it is also grow in blood agar. Blood agar is the culture media for this candidiasis, also Candida albicans. So white creamy patch colonies also seen in case of blood agar culture media, right? And so this is the culture media. And if we'll see, move to the staining procedure and staining, so the gram stain, we see gram positive boarding yeast cells, and in case of wet preparation or wet mound, we also see this boarding yeast cells, and pseudohyphae structures are also seen here. So next we'll move to the test or the lab test, how we detect Candida albicans. So the best test for this candidiasis is the germ tube test. So what is this germ tube test? So germ tube test, this is a screening test for the identification of these Candida albicans from other species, because they show pseudohyphae structures. Or so this germ tube test is a test. So what do you mean by germ tube? So actually the spore forming fungus, they form a spore like structure which contain which we see like germ tube. They are seen like this, as you are seeing this picture. So they this spore forming fungus, they grow like this. So we detect this Candida albicans from other species. So this is the test we can do for this Candida albicans for candidiasis. Let's move to the pathogenesis of candidiasis. And as you can see here, candidiasis is divided into, we have categorized this candidiasis into two types. First one is the infectious diseases and second one is the allergic diseases. So this infectious diseases, firstly it is again divided into mucocutaneous manifestations, second is cutaneous in diseases, and the third one is the systemic diseases. And if we'll just ignore this allergic diseases, we are finding this mucocutaneous manifestations. So first of all, we should know what is mucocutaneous. Mucocutaneous means the region of the body in which mucosa transitions to skin. Mucocutaneous, it is relating to membranes and the skin. So this mucocutaneous manifestations, they affect skin and the mucosal membrane integrity, and moreover it produces inflammation. So if we will see the diseases which comes under this mucocutaneous manifestations, first one is the oral candidiasis. So this is the most important pathogenesis of this Candida albicans or this candidiasis. Candidiasis is otherwise called as oral candidiasis, right? So, and second is the angular cheilitis. This oral candidiasis means infection in which the Candida albicans accumulates in the mouth. It is otherwise also called as oral thrush. And this angular cheilitis, it is the inflammation and small cracks in one or both corners of the mouth. As you can see here, this is called as angular cheilitis. And other diseases includes esophagitis, vulvovaginitis, chronic mucocutaneous candidiasis. So these are the examples of mucocutaneous manifestations. And if you will see the second infectious disease, and that is the cutaneous disease. So the diseases include in this intertrigo, paronychia and onychomycosis. So these are the examples of cutaneous infectious diseases. So this intertrigo means an overgrowth of yeast that occurs between two connected layers of inflamed skin, between two adjacent toes, under the breasts, in the groin area or in the armpit. So this is the intertrigo as we are seeing in this picture. And the second example is paronychia. So this is the infection of tissue folds around the nails. So it is an infection of tissue adjacent to nail, most often at fingernail. If we will see the toenail, then that is the onychomycosis, a nail fungus causing thickened, brittle, crumbly or ragged nails. So this is called as nail fungus. So this is the paronychia and onychomycosis. This is the two diseases of fingernail and the toenail, right? So let's come to the third infectious disease of candidiasis, and this is the systemic infectious diseases. So the diseases includes in this systemic disease UTI or the urinary tract infection, which is most often common, and second is the candiduria, endocarditis, pulmonary candidiasis, meningitis, arthritis, osteomyelitis, nosocomial candidiasis. So these are the most common diseases which comes under this systemic infectious diseases. So as we have studied that candidiasis is divided into two: infectious diseases and allergic diseases. So this infectious diseases we have already discussed this, and next we will move to the allergic diseases. So this allergic means allergic or the hypersensitivity reactions. So the diseases includes here eczema, asthma, gastritis. So these are the diseases which comes under the allergic diseases of candidiasis. The whole total video about Candida albicans and the disease candidiasis. So oral candidiasis is most common oral cavity. The candidiasis present in the oral cavity. So if you think this video is helpful for you, then subscribe to the channel.